welcome to Love and Life's Journey. I'm Chantel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have 3 easy Dollar Tree Valentine DIYs for you, and then a little bit later in the video I am going to be revealing the winners for my giveaway for the 6 Farmers Market calendars. So be sure to stay tuned for that, and let's jump in and get started with the DIYs. For this first project, I will be using a 4-pack of these felt coasters that I found in the Valentine section at Dollar Tree, as well as a 4-pack of these little chalkboard tags, and these were in the crafting section or Crafter's Square aisle. I will also be using some jute twine and 1 roll of this black and white check ribbon, as well as some of this red and white baker's twine that I found. These were in a 3-pack, 3 different colors in the Crafter's Square aisle. When I purchased these, I thought that that little red and white check ribbon was on each of the coasters, which now that I think about it, it doesn't really make sense because then your drink wouldn't sit on the coaster very well. But it was just to hold these together in the package and to look cute. It's a cute ribbon. I'm going to take it off and use it. And at first I was going to cut it, but then I realized I could just pull the end off really easy. It was just glued with a little bit of glue. And I'm going to set that aside because I will be using it a little bit later. So I am going to be making a garland using these and the little chalkboard heart signs, and so I'm just going to lay them out, figure out how long I want my garland to be for where I want to hang it, and kind of the order that I want it to be in. And so that's totally up to you. You can customize it however works for you. So I liked the little red and white accent ribbon on these hearts, but I only had a little teeny tiny piece of that ribbon. So I'm using this red and white baker's twine to kind of basically do the same thing as how that ribbon was on the package. I'm just putting it through the L and then going over to the edge. I wrapped it around a couple of times, and then I'm going to tie a little bow. So I decided to use 3 of the red hearts for my garland. On the center heart, I wanted to use the ribbon that came with these coasters. I thought the bow that was already on there was a little bit, it looked more like it was made by a machine instead of by hand. So I am tying my own little bow with the remainder of the ribbon, and I'm going to put that on the center heart. I'm also going to add some of the baker's twine to the 3rd heart. This one I am tying on the opposite side of the heart than I did on the first one, and you can embellish these any way you want. You can leave them plain if you want, but I decided it would kind of balance it to have it on the left side on the left heart and on the right side on the right heart, and so that's just how I did it. Next, I'm going to create a couple of little bows for my little chalkboard hearts. So I cut a piece of twine 4 inches long approximately, and then I'm going to use some of the red and white baker's twine to wrap around 2 fingers about 8 times, and I'll tie it off in the center using that small piece of twine that I cut. After trimming the ends of the bow, then I am going to take a little bit of hot glue, and I am going to just glue this right over the hole that is in that little chalkboard heart tag, just to cover that up, and the glue will kind of go through the hole and it will stick to the tag, and then that hole is disguised. So now that my hearts are all embellished, I am going to take some of the jute twine, and I am going to figure out how long I want my garland to be, and then I'm going to lay out my hearts and have it all spaced kind of how I want it. And I have found it's easiest to turn my hearts over so that I have the back sides facing up, and then it's really easy to glue them to the twine. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I do a lot of Dollar Tree DIYs, DIYs on a budget, some trash to treasure projects, and just some miscellaneous things. I would love to have you stick around, so hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell and set your notifications so that YouTube will notify you when I upload new videos. So as you can see here, I'm using a very scientific method of using my hand as my measurement to space my hearts. You can measure them if you want. I just kind of guesstimate. So now I'm going to take my black and white checked ribbon and I am going to cut some pieces about 5 inches long, and I am going to tie them in between each of the hearts and then one at each end. Here's my finished garland. I added it to my mantle. I still have some winter things up on my mantle, but Valentine's Day falls in winter here in Idaho, so I think it's okay that I've got some snowflakes up here along with my Valentines. For this next project, I'll be using this palette sign from Dollar Tree. I'll also be using some more of that same spool of black and white check ribbon, and I will be using the 4th heart out of that 4-pack of coasters. And yes, I'm going to be using some more of the red and white baker's twine. I'm going to remove the hanger on my sign. You can leave it on if you want to hang this on the wall. I'm just sitting mine up on the mantle or a shelf, so I'm just removing that. And then also I'm going to just peel that label off. It comes off really easily. At least it did on mine. There were a few rough spots on my little palette sign, so I'm taking some sandpaper and just smoothing out anywhere that it needs it. And then I am going to paint my sign with some ivory chalk paint, just a white paint or off-white paint, whatever color that you want to use works fine. I just wanted to kind of make this a little bit brighter and not leave it the natural wood. Then once the paint is dry, I'm going to take a piece of my black and white check ribbon and I'm going to attach that across the top and the bottom of the little palette sign. Next I'm going to take my red felt heart and I am going to use a piece of black cardstock. This is just a scrap that I had, and I'm going to trace around the heart. You could use black felt or you could use even that craft foam, just something on the back of this so that the letters are black. And I'm going to cut that out a little bit smaller than actually what I traced, and then I'm going to glue that to the back of the felt heart. So before I glued my heart on, I wanted to kind of figure out how I wanted to embellish this a little bit. So I'm just playing around with some things, and I decided that I didn't really like the ribbon going across both the top and the bottom, so I decided to take the ribbon across the top off and just use a bow on the top instead. So I wanted it to look like my little heart was hanging, so I am taking a piece of that baker's twine and just adding a little hanger to the back. And I'm just making sure I have everything positioned correctly, and then I'm going to use the hot glue gun and glue it down. Then I decided I wanted to add one more embellishment to this, so I'm going to make another one of those bows using the baker's twine like I did before. This time I'm making it a little bit bigger. I'm wrapping it around 3 fingers, still about 8 times to make the little bow. Then I'm going to glue the little bow to the bottom right corner across that ribbon, and then for a finishing touch I wanted to find a little black button, so I went searching in my big button tin. This came from my grandmother, who lived to be 108 years old. She was born in 1902. She lived through the Depression. She saved everything, but I am so happy to have all of these buttons from her. There's some really old ones in here and just some really cool ones, and they're fun to use when I am crafting. But if you don't have a huge button stash, you can pick up a container of buttons at Dollar Tree where you can find something that will work great for this. So I just found a tiny little black button I'm going to put right in the center of that twine bow, and then it's finished. I know that so many of you have been looking for this farmer's market calendar at Dollar Tree and have not been able to find it. So when an amazing viewer named Trish from Washington sent me several of these calendars, I knew that I wanted to give them away and share them with you. So I have the 6 calendars that I'm giving away. I've drawn the winners randomly from the comments of my video a couple weeks ago, and here they are. The first winner is Mary Ann Carter in North Carolina. Thank you for your comment, and I hope and pray that your cousins are recovering well from COVID. Second winner is Cheryl McClure. She says she never wins anything. I totally feel that. But today, Cheryl, you have won a calendar. Next is Becky Brewer. Thank you, Becky, for your comment and your concern for me. I so appreciate it, and I agree with you. My subscribers are amazing and always so supportive. The fourth winner is Cynthia Lugo, and Cynthia, I know it is really scary to so many unknowns with COVID and not being able to be around your family. I hope that your son has recovered fully. Next is Elaine Coleman. Thank you so much for your wishes, and I do feel so much better. And last but not least is Nikki Sen. And Nikki, yes, I agree with you. This may be the most sought after item from Dollar Tree. So congratulations to all of you who won a calendar. I am excited that I'm able to share these with you. And so be sure to message me or send me an email. You can message me on Instagram or Facebook. You can send an email to the email address that's in the description box below and get your address to me so I can get those out. I also just want to say thank you so much for all of your amazing wonderful comments, and for all of you who are praying for me for my recovery from COVID. And I just want you to know that I'm pretty much all back to feeling like myself. I still get a little bit tired sometimes, so I'm still taking it a little bit easy and just kind of still going a little bit slower. And so but I am feeling so much better, and praise the Lord, neither my husband or my daughter contracted it, and they stayed healthy, and so we're doing great. And so thank you again so much for your prayers and your wonderful comments. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So now let's get back to the DIY. For this last project, I will be using this picture frame that I did pick up at Dollar Tree. I really like it. It's very unique. It has the clear plastic in it with the clip. And if you can't find this, you can use any other picture frame. And then I'm going to be using these window clings, also from Dollar Tree. So first I took the little bicycle off of the window clings and placed it at the bottom of the picture frame. And then I printed out one of my favorite pictures of my husband Chris and I, and cut it out, and I just printed it to the size that I thought would work well. I cut it out with a white border because I thought that would help it coordinate with the white frame and kind of pull it all together. Now, I thought this was okay, but then it's like the bicycle doesn't really kind of go with the picture. I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't working. So the nice thing about these window clings, I can just peel it off, and I changed it up and put on the one that says Bringing the Love. And I thought that looked a lot better and kind of made more sense with this. I love the little bicycle, but it just wasn't quite right for this. And I decided it needed a little bit more, so I took one of the hearts and added it as well. And then to tie this project in with all of my other projects in this video, I decided to add a bow using that black and white checked ribbon, and I think that was the perfect finishing touch for this. I love this because it was so simple to make, and after Valentine's, if I want to change it up, they're just window clings. I can just peel them off, I can change out the picture, and I can use it for all year round. Here are all three pieces on my mantle. I love how they all coordinate together, and they still have that farmhouse feel, even though I've added the red in there. And I know some people are really into the more neutral farmhouse look, and that's great, but I kind of like to add a pop of color for certain holidays that just makes it a little bit more festive. So I hope you enjoyed these three projects. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.